Welcome to the Stade de France for the star-studded super final of the Trophy Andros, celebrating its 30th birthday with Sebastien Ogier, Sebastien Loeb, Formula One new boy Esteban Ocon, and a host of stars, old and new, from the Trophy Andros' 30-year history. And on this purpose-built oval in the heart of the capital of France, where the French football team claims their World Cup final victory, once more, for the 8th time, Trophy Andros returns. 400 metres of gladiatorial arena for the bikes, for the electric cars, and for the petrol engine cars as well. Well, this oval gives great racing opportunities and a fantastic chance for the crowd to see everything from every seat in the stadium. But as ever, it's always a challenge to convert a football stadium into an ice arena with hours of labour and 700 tonnes of ice. The champions have all been already decided. Superbest, the last point-scoring weekend, saw Christophe Ferrier claim victory in the electric series ahead of Vincent Beltoise and Louis Gervasson. In the elite class, the year was dominated by a new boy. Single-seater race, Dorian Boccolacci. He scooped the title with Louis Gervasson in second place and Margot Lafitte in third. In the elite pro class, it was a fourth title in a row for Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, Franck Lagorce and Aurélien Panis, joining him on the season's podium. And after a tremendously hard-fought season finale in the motorcycles, it was Maxime Emery who clinched the title, with Vivian Gonnet pipped at the post and multiple champion Sylvain Dabert finishing in third. A great opportunity not just to see the cars in action, but to meet the stars as well. Men like Sebastien Loeb, the multiple World Rally champion. And stars of the past and the present as well. Reigning champions, men like Ari Vatanen, legends of the sport. Francois Chatriot, the champion in '95. And 6 times WRC champion Sebastien Ogier, here to show off his Citroën WRC machine. And a chance to applaud the champions of the past as well. Introduced by the stadium announcer Francois Chatriot. Marcel Tarez, the champion back in 2003. Ari Vatanen, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, our 4 times champion, and Esteban Ocon, who's hoping to come ice racing next winter. Sebastien Loeb, for the first time here as a competitor, and Sebastien Ogier, here for demonstration runs as well. Alain Prost, not just a Formula One champion, a 3-time ice racing champion as well. Legends of the sport, one and all, on ice and away from it. We start our action with electric versus petrol engine cars. Now, they've been racing against each other throughout the season, and in each of these semi-finals, one for all petrol cars, one for all electric, the winner goes through into the final, so we are guaranteed a petrol versus electric finale. So on the left-hand side, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, the new champion. On the right, perhaps one of the tigers of the season, Olivier Panis, 4th overall, 2nd best placed of the petrol engine cars. And that was despite having had to miss a full race weekend during the season. So whoever comes out on top in the semi goes through to represent their chosen fuel, if you like, or combustion, or lack of combustion. And at the first split in this pursuit layout, it's Olivier Panis who's ahead. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg wrestling the car around the second part of the lap. As he crosses the line, Panis again just a fraction in front. Let's see, it's 2 laps here, and it is the best of 2 to go through. So has Panis got enough of an advantage? It's still very tight. The checker flags are being prepared at either of the bridges. Next time they get to the line, it'll be the end of the 2 laps. And it looks as though Dubourg is going to be close. Who got that one? Very tight indeed. Well, Olivier Panis led all the way through, but the clocks are saying that Jean-Baptiste Dubourg won it by 9 thousandths of a second. And that means that Panis, now starting on the left-hand side, half a lap away from where he was before, must win this one to take it to a third and deciding run. So Olivier Panis, 4th in the point standings at the end of the year, behind son Aurélien. And at the moment, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, Panis looked as though he was just ahead on the far side. Is the Audi dealing with the ruts well? 1 to go. That looked clearly like Panis was in front, so this could go the other way now. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg is going to have to fight back, the champion, to try and win this one and seal his way through. And now it's very much closer, half a lap to go. Dubourg was right there. Panis fighting the car. Looks as though he's had contact with the wall, and he's behind, and Dubourg wins it. 2-0 against Olivier Panis. Looks as though Panis got caught out in the ruts. And Jean-Baptiste Dubourg goes through into the final. So he will represent internal combustion engines. Who is going to be his electric rival? Looks as though Olivier Panis' car might actually have slightly more problems. But Jean-Baptiste Dubourg kept the car clean and in one piece and goes through into the final. He looks happy with that, rightly so. You can see how rutted the track is. This ice frozen, not the work of a moment in the capital city. So, onto the electric cars, as ever, in the green Trophy Andros colours, Franck Lagorce and Nico Prost, multiple electric racing champion. Lagorce, though, has been a real contender all season long. The longer the season went on, the more efficient he and his car have become. Absolute front runners. Again, you can see the 4-wheel drive, 4-wheel steer on the car. Lagorce out very wide indeed, but he's comfortably in front at the end of the first lap for each of the drivers on board with Nico Prost. Bouncing around under him. And Lagorce at the line with half a lap to go, well in front. Of course, the French crowd in the stadium very used to this cycle-style pursuit. Watching the action, they can gauge it nicely. And at the line, Franck Lagorce comfortably takes the first of the runs. And on that showing, unless there's an issue with the car or he makes some fairly fundamental error, you've got to think he is likely to go through into the final. As Nico Prost finds quite a lot more pace. So here we go, starting again from the opposite side of the stadium. So just in case there is an advantage, one end is a little less rutted perhaps, and both drivers in the first 2 heats will each get a chance for what might be, quote, the faster side of the stadium as they get away. And again, there in the split screen, you can see Lagorce was already pitching it into his first corner before Nico Prost made a better getaway. On board with Nico, looked as though he was just in front of Lagorce at that first split. That's the first half a lap, so maybe he had the easier first half. You can see how rough and rutted it is. The drivers fighting hard inside the car, being rattled around. Look at Lagorce, bounced around all over the place. Half a lap to go. This is tight. Looks as though Nico may just be going to win this one. Going to be very close. Last half lap decides it. No, Lagorce is in front by some margin as well. Nico Prost, the last half lap wasn't as good as it needed to be. Franck Lagorce, like Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, goes through. It's 2-0 to Lagorce in the electric contenders. And it will be he versus Jean-Baptiste Dubourg in the electric versus internal combustion final. So Lagorce on the left, Dubourg on the right. And And who turns in first? Well, Lagos does very clearly and very aggressively. He has a very attacking style, Frank Lagos. And at the split, first of the 4 times across the line, he's in front. At the end of the first of the 2 laps, again Lagos comfortably in front, maybe in this short, sharp run around this oval. The instant torque of the electric car is having an advantage. Again, Lagos, with half a lap to go, still in front. If he can get one in here now, like in a World Cup final, scoring first. Oh! Very tight. Very tight. Well, it came down to 0.2 of a second. Frank Lagos was in front, but the gap went from 0.9 after half a lap to half a second after 1 full lap to 0.2 after 3/4 distance. So tough challenge for Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. 1 down, he now has to win both to take the final. So every single thing now, where they start, what ruts they're in, what grip there is under the tyres, going to be absolutely critical for both these men. We're looking perhaps at thousandths of a second to decide this. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg on the left, Frank Lagos on the right. Away they go. Dubourg really pushing hard to the first corner. It looked as though he may just have turned in front. Now whether Frank Lagos can hang on here. Dubourg surely just a fraction in front. So 1/4 distance, let's take a look at halfway. Lagos in front, isn't he? Yes, he's got to be. Now, what about Jean-Baptiste Dubourg? Can he come back in the 3rd half a lap? He has. He's very close, but I think Dubourg had it at the line. Now, Lagos came back in the 2nd half of lap 1. Will he come back in the 2nd half of lap 2? Right out wide, Dubourg, and Lagos wins it at the line. Frank Lagos wins it. 2 straight runs over Jean-Baptiste Dubourg. But he doesn't know. It's too tight. The drivers can't see across the stadium. Now I think he hears on the radio that he's won it. In his delight, he's forgotten to unplug himself from the car. So jumps out and celebrates. Well, Frank Lagos, after his racing career, started a stunt driving circus. He used to support World Series by Renault with a whole host of great stunt driving. So this is not unfamiliar territory to him. He certainly hasn't lost his racing edge either, has he? So Frank Lagos winning the electric thermic challenge for the silent ones, for the electric cars. With his Trophy Andros sponsored machine. How fitting is that? Well, he's been right behind all the development of these electric cars in Trophy Andros right from the start. Well, in fact, we've got 2 seasons in one. You've got the Trophy Andros and tonight a whole other Trophy Andros. Even if you won the regular trophy, you still want to win the other one, like winning Monaco or winning Le Mans 24 Hours. And tonight with Sebastien Ogier, it's going to be really special. I'm really happy. I've already seen a few things on this track. I've won twice here in the Stade de France out of 3 trips here. One thing's for sure. If you put the pressure on yourself coming in here, then you're dead. In my career, I've done loads of things, Formula 1, Le Mans. And so you learn to appreciate what you're doing and to give pleasure to the fans. Action now from the motorcycle final. This is going to be so tough for the bikers. The toughest track they've faced all season long. It's an oval, so basically no real difficulty in getting round, but the ice is so carved up. Maxime Emery, the new champion, on pole position with the yellow vest, number 11, Sylvain Dabert, and Vivian Dabert also on the front row. Randy de Punier, the endurance motorcycle ace, joined in last time out in Superbest. He's here as well. This is going to be very tough indeed, with Maxime Lacour. He's on the second row in his Kawasaki. Just surviving this one is going to be not the work of a moment. So a chance for the big crowd here, near capacity crowd in this stadium. The first few rows have been kept clear for safety reasons. Look for the yellow vest of our champion, Maxime Emery, number 37, Sylvain Dabert, and Randy de Punier, 51. There's 76, Vivian Dabert. And watch for de Punier. He was quite the revelation in Superbest. So 6 laps of the Stade de France. Unlike ice speedway riders, these guys do have brakes. Whether or not they use them is an entirely different question. Lots of jockeying in the pack. Everybody being introduced to great roars by the stadium announcer. And some poor marshal there trying to identify riders and get them into the right position on the grid. It's like herding cats. Does look as though we are just about there though. Right. Goggles down, do your chin up. They've run out of petrol by this stage. It looks as though we are just about ready to go. So as Franck Legault said, it's one thing winning the season-long Trophy Andros, but having a spectacular like this in Stade de France, that's something else entirely different. And if you win the Formula One World Championship, you still want to win Monaco. So we are ready for the off. And 6 fast and furious laps. The tricolore drops and away they go. Not the greatest start from Maxime Emery. Into the lead immediately, Sylvain Dabert. Vivian Dabert also showing strongly. So Vivian Dabert might actually have got away equally well. Yes, he does. And look at that, around the nose of his brother. So into the lead, Vivian Dabert. Sylvain Dabert right behind him. Oh, and in the closely fought pack, you can see just how much ice is being thrown around. Visibility nothing like as bad as Superbest. Fortunately for these guys, our champion in the yellow vest way back in, 5th place, Maxime Emery, at the end of the first of our half dozen laps. Sylvain and Vivian Dabert. Sylvain getting his nose back in front. There he is with the lime yellow highlights. And Vivian running out very wide indeed. Sylvain Dabert using a middle line, but fighting the ruts and almost collects his brother and goes into the wall. So Vivian Dabert back in front. And it looks as though it is, oof, goodness me. Sylvain Dabert very nearly getting spat out of the saddle there. Looks as though it may well be a battle of the two brothers for victory here. And at the moment, Sylvain Dabert is easing away from Vivian Dabert. He might have problems of his own. Vivian Gonnet closing in 4th place. Maxime Emery in 5th position at the moment. Perhaps being a fraction cautious. But we're 4 laps in. If they're going to make moves now, they're going to be the beneficiary. If they leave it any longer, not going to work for them. And again, back in front, Sylvain Dabert, almost contact with his brother. Riding these bucking Broncos, it's hardly a surprise, is it? 1 to go. Sylvain Dabert out front, Vivian Dabert in 2nd place. And it looks as though, Vivian Gonnet has moved up to 3rd. Maxime Emery, the champion, still in 5th position. Vivian Gonnet on the podium. Last lap, and they're already lapping traffic. Sylvain Dabert clearly took a handful of bravery pills and claims victory in the Stade de France. His brother in second place, Vivian Dabert, and Vivian Gonnet in third position. No snowbanks here for Sylvain Dabert to bury the bike in like he did in Superbest, but he is absolutely thrilled with that. That might be the roughest track that they've raced on all season, perhaps with some of the best visibility under the arc lights here in Stade de France. Sylvain Dabert looking very happy with that. Not sure he and brother Vivian would have been quite so happy if they'd made contact on any of the number of occasions they were perilously close to both piling over the wall. But with Vivian Gonnet in third, Vivian Dabert in second, it is Sylvain Dabert who wins in the Stade de France. Confirmation then of the way they ended up. Randy Depunier, a commendable 8th place in what may be some of the trickiest conditions he'll ever have raced a motorcycle in. I'm sure he'd have to think long and hard to think of something that seemed like such a good idea going in and ended up being quite so much hard work. KTM, Honda and Husqvarna on the podium for the motorcycle final. Let's get into the action now from the electric racers. Christophe Ferrier, the champion, 5-time champion on pole from Yann Erlacher. Erlacher, a touring car ace. Vincent Beltoise and Julian Andlauer, Porsche Junior driver, on row 2 of the grid. Row 3 is sports car ace Thomas Laurent and Louis Rousset. Row 4, Sacha Prost, and top lady racer in the electric cars, Clémentine Lost, with Guillaume Play and Louis Gervison making up row 5 of the grid. So bringing in some of our guest drivers from the season, Erlacher turning into quite the racer, Julian Andlauer, the Porsche Junior driver, allowing himself for who knows what, something very different from what he is used to. So Christophe Ferrier, the pole man, winner of 8 of the 11 races this season. Don't forget the first weekend, day 2 of the action was called off. Christophe Ferrier, though, has had a very successful season indeed, alongside in the red car, Yann Erlacher. Then on row 2, the dark blue car. You can see there, that is Vincent Beltoise. Julian Andlauer, predominantly the white car with the blue back end. Then Thomas Laurent, he's with the yellowy green highlights, and Louis Rousset alongside him. So away they go. A good start from our champion once more. And Ferrier leads into the first corner ahead of Yann Erlacher. Erlacher got to try and keep his nose in front of the pursuing pack as they get the first half of the lap done. Had trouble at the back. In the wall is Sacha Prost, and I think Clémentine Lost has been caught up in that as well. Looked like Prost tried to get inside the yellow car of Thomas Laurent away from the start. So it is Christophe Ferrier that leads. In second place, Yann Erlacher. And there's another abandoned car there as well. So Erlacher in the red machine in second place. Clémentine Lost there, the red and black car. And you can see Sacha Prost's car nosed up to the barriers. Christophe Ferrier made it through. Yann Erlacher lifted off. He's lost second place to Vincent Beltoise. Beltoise goes through. There's Clémentine Lost. She's out okay. Sacha Prost as well. Christophe Ferrier is long gone now. Flies through. Passing stationary cars. Double waved yellows. That's why Yann Erlacher lifted off. Christophe Ferrier, Vincent Beltoise, Yann Erlacher. That's the 1, 2, 3. On board with Louis Gervison further back, giving us a view of what it's like trying to navigate his way around all the abandoned vehicles. It changes the racing line, very different. Trying to make your way around these cars than using the whole of the arc at either end of the track. It's making life very tricky. There, the number 2 car, Vincent Beltoise. Red machine, Yann Erlacher still hanging on to third place. Christophe Ferrier leading comfortably. 2/3 distance, there he is. And there is Vincent Beltoise in second, the red car, Yann Erlaché in third. At the back of the field, Thomas Laurent, Louis Rousset on the inside, Laurent on the outside, gets it wrong, drifts out and slams into the stationary car. The sports car race can't believe it. Well, that has all but blocked the track. The leader with one to go now. Marshals can do nothing about this with the cars flying around. Everybody's just going to have to try and avoid the stationary vehicles. That's more easily said than done. Christophe Ferrier making it all look very straightforward. And he is going to romp away with this one. His rivals might argue that he didn't slow down very much when there were damaged cars and yellow flags being waved. He won't care too much, I don't think. Second place at the line, Vincent Beltoise, and third, Yann Erlaché. On board view of Louis Gervasson still speeding around the Stade de France. So Christophe Ferrier, the winner of what turned into a little bit of an electric demolition derby. Unfortunate contact early on. Occasionally, when you have close racing, that's what happens. Well, entertaining action so far in the Stade de France for the thousands of fans who have joined in here. Christophe Ferrier concludes his season after winning the electric title here in Stade de France, with Vincent Beltoise and Yann Erlaché completing the podium ahead of Julien Andlauer, Louis Rousset and Louis Gervasson. So the unfortunates who ended up in a number of crashes, their races coming to a premature end. But Christophe Ferrier made sure that everybody was following him all the way through. Vincent Beltoise in second place, and Yann Erlaché fresh from testing his World Touring car into the Stade de France and on ice. Something he'll be hoping to encounter much less of during the World Touring Car season. Clementine Lost there, recovered from her incident. And as the top female driver, she joins them on the podium in the centre of the hallowed turf. Christophe Ferrier looking as happy with this as he did with his championship at the end of the regular season. So the five-time electric champion, perhaps unsurprisingly, comes out on top here in Stade de France. One of the highlights of the Stade de France weekend was the Sebastien Ogier demonstration of his brand new mount. The former Citroën Junior World Rally champion has claimed 6 consecutive titles, 4 first for Volkswagen and then 2 in the last 2 seasons with Ford. But he and co-driver Julien Ingrassa have been signed back to the Citroën family, and for the first time in public, demonstrating his car on this very choppy ice. Perhaps the sort of stuff that he'll see in the season-opening Monte Carlo rally up in the high alpine stages. Well, there's no doubt that rally drivers love throwing a car around, particularly when they get the opportunity to give a big demonstration for their new employer in front of a big home crowd. Sebastian Loeb on hand, a 9-time rally champion, of course, and his compatriot, already a 6-time consecutive title winner, looks as though he is going to start closing in on Loeb's record with Loeb's former team. What a great opportunity for Sebastien Ogier to show how the brand new Citroën can dance around on the broken and battered ice, making sure he keeps it off the barriers. No miscues here so early in his Citroën career before he even gets a rally under his belt. Nevertheless, as you would expect, pushing it all the way to the limit, probably not helping the condition of the track much. Now, the temptation to do some donuts is always there, but the track clearly just a fraction too narrow when you've got all that grip on hand. The big difference between his car and those competing in the Trophy Andros, although his has got 4-wheel drive and a turbocharged petrol engine, his does not have 4-wheel steer. really enjoying demonstrating the car's abilities. Wonder what Sebastian Loeb is thinking, watching a rival in what could be a championship winning challenger with the Citroën team once more. Well, it looks as though our new Citroën Rally driver is enjoying himself enormously. Did a couple of laps and you could see him stop, and then the support crew coming out to help with the car, and he decided to keep going. Nothing like a bit of showboating in fantastic style around the Stade de France. An opportunity not to be brought to a close too soon. You don't get the chance to do this every year of your career. And although it is for fun, he is really getting into this, putting on a pretty impressive demonstration and showering everybody trackside with lots of slushy ice. Well, underneath the ice you can clearly see it's all still white, those ceramic tiles underneath to protect the pitch and the training track around the outside of it, and to give some grip as well as the snow melts. Crowd enjoying this enormously. I'm sure Ogier is beaming like a Cheshire cat under his helmet as well. From the body language of the car, this is a man having a lot of fun. The sound of the turbocharged engine chattering around the Stade de France. So Sebastien Ogier demonstrating his new toy for 2019. A new challenge for the Frenchman. He returns to Citroën, with whom he claimed his junior World Rally Championship title, hoping to add to his 6 consecutive World Championship wins with Volkswagen and Ford. And you can see, even slowly as he travels around, just how rough the ice has become now. It does look as though Sebastien Ogier enjoyed himself just as much as the crowd enjoyed watching him. He was certainly beaming with the pleasure of it all afterwards. That was a really proper job, because the track's pretty rough, lots of holes in the ice, but it's proof that our cars are really strong. They can take a lot of punishment. As a driver, you're always looking for new experiences. Trophy Andros is something I really love. The cars slide, that's what it's all about. I tried the ice racing about 10 years ago. I think I've got to get back into this and take on the specialist guys. Great to see so many fans here applauding us. Of course, it's only a demonstration, but it's great to be out there. And just want to thank all the fans for all their support. Now we head to the main event, to the Elite Pro Final. There is Franck Lagorce. He's on the front row of the grid in his electric Andros sport machine, but it's the Plastic Up electric racer of Aurélien Panis who is on pole position. Behind them, Andrea Dubourg in the Renault and Eddie Benezet in the BMW M2. They're on row 2. On row 3, it's the Audi of Lionel Daziano and the electric motor racer of Nico Prost, who got into the semis in the petrol versus electric showdown. Then Sylvain Poussier, the first of the Peugeots, ahead of Julien Piguet in his Mini Countryman. Well, this is a different format from the usual races here in the Stade de France. There are 6 laps before a driver change. Normally these cars are shared by elite pro drivers and elite drivers in separate races. Here, the drivers who regularly drive the cars will both compete in the same event. So it's not just about the driving, there's also the driver change to contemplate as well. So who's going to come out on top in this mixed affair? Well, there's no question that Aurélien Panis would love to be able to take victory here. Franck Lagorce likewise. So the grid is complete and away they go. Good starts as ever from the electric races. That instant torque of the electric powertrain gives them a step or two ahead of their petrol-engined opposition. So it's the bright yellow car, and that is Aurélien Panis ahead of Franck Lagorce in the mean green machine from the Trophy Andros supporting company Andros. And Lagos in the slipstream, running out a little wide, loses ground to Aurélien Panis. Third is the first of the petrol engine cars. That's Andrea Dubourg in a Renault Captur. His older brother Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, the champion, will be driving that car in the second part of the race. So this is fast and furious action. Aurélien Panis, having made the leap away from pole position, now being caught by Franck Lagos. Lagos looks the quicker of the pair here. Now, being able to translate speed into getting by on a short oval like this is quite a long work in progress. Fourth place, Eddie Benezet in the BMW. In fifth place, Lionel Daziano. We're right behind him with Nico Prost. And again, you can see Prost looks a little quicker than Daziano in the Audi in front of us. And here's the same position. Lagos drifting out a little wide. The wider you go, the longer you make the lap in terms of the meters you have to carry. But you carry more speed as well. And he's looking to get some slingshot effect off the corners to try and find a way alongside the race leader. Here he comes again, he's on the inside, little contact between them, straightens the pair out between the two corners. Aurélien Panis possibly saw it coming through the side window, unfazed by that little bit of contact. So Panis still the narrow leader. Franck Lagos almost alongside him around the outside now again. Little undercut, just a bit of an overlap on the inside. Final lap for these guys in their 6-lap encounter. And then there will be the driver change. Well, Aurélien Panis heading to the checkered flag. He will hand over the leading car to his dad. Franck Lagos will hand over the green machine to Sebastien Loeb. And look at this, Nico Prost piling on the pressure. Lionel Daziano clambers over the wall. I think Prost was ahead in fifth at the line. Pressure paid off. Well, there is Aurélien Panis. His dad saying, I haven't had that much pressure in my life, even in Formula One. He did a fantastic job, now I've got to finish it off. I'm really happy to share with my dad in this incredible arena. Time for him to do his bit. It's really tricky out there, says Sebastien Loeb. We saw Franck trying everything on Panis. Very difficult to pass here, but he tried everything. So I'm going to have to try and adapt to the track and do my best. Yeah. Fantastic thing. It's not every day you get a chance to race in the Stade de France. It's a nice show and great to be here fighting. So getting ready for part two, four-time champion Jean-Baptiste Dubourg taking over from brother Andrea. He'll start in third. Olivier Panis will be on pole from Sebastien Loeb, Jean-Baptiste Dubourg and Dorian Boccolacci, the winner of the elite class in the BMW M2. He's taken over from Eddie Benezet. A few moments of advice from Franck Lagos for Sebastien Loeb. I think the advice there is have a lunge. What's the worst that can happen? Lagos wasn't averse to having a lunge. He didn't quite get close enough though. So for Sebastien Loeb, a good grid position, but a big challenge to try and get by Olivier Panis in identical cars and that are new as well to Sebastien Loeb. So Olivier Panis in the yellow machine. Nico Prost is handed over, by the way, to Andreas Bakkerud. Now there's a team combination. Bakkerud, Rallycross ace, should be used to the short, sharp nature of these events and also a little bit of bouncing around. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg will be in a Renault Captur. He's taken over from his younger brother. There's Sebastien Loeb. We are gridded up as they finished. Dubourg will be closer to the electric racers than the car was at the line. So let's see how we go. Away we go. Good start. Little bit of fishtailing from Olivier Panis in the yellow plastic up machine, but he turns in front of Sebastien Loeb. Then Jean-Baptiste Dubourg, and already look at Andreas Bakkerud in the Motul machine all over the back of the BMW, and he's through. Dorian Boccolacci into the wall. That may be the first mistake we've seen from Boccolacci this year. And the pressure is on Sebastien Loeb in second place. Olivier Panis has checked out front. Now he won't be overconfident, he will just have his head down and charging. Sebastien Loeb looking relaxed. There's the bodywork on the back wall from Dorian Boccolacci's car. On board with Olivier Panis. Now, don't forget, Olivier has been driving almost all season, but he's been driving an Audi. The electric-engined car is very different. There's Baccarud under pressure from Boccolacci, or Bocca probably, since half the car's gone, maybe half the name should be as well. Dorian Boccolacci in the BMW throwing the machine around, but so is Andreas Baccarud, rallycross driver, looking in fantastic form. Sebastian Loeb. Now, is he checking the mirrors to see where everybody else is, or looking round the corner to see where the leader is? I think he wanted to know where Jean-Baptiste Dubourg was, and the answer was right behind him. Again, don't forget, for drivers like Sebastian Loeb coming into these electric vehicles, the same is true for Olivier Panis out front. The lack of engine noise, really quite disorientating. Lack of bodywork, not disorientating. Dorian Boccolacci, BMW M2 again, not much of it left, so that's more of an M half than an M2. And the leader being caught, Olivier Panis, now caught very quickly indeed by Sebastian Loeb. Has Panis made contact with the walls, or has he just hit some heavy snowbanks? He's been encouraged on from the pit wall. It is Sebastian Loeb fighting for victory. Olivier Panis still leads. Loeb second in the green machine. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg in third. The last man to win for Ligier in Formula 1. The last Frenchman still to win a Grand Prix. Heads a 9-time World Rally champion and a 5-time Andros champion. And the Panises win it. Sebastian Loeb in second. Jean-Baptiste Dubourg in third. And Dorian Boccolacci got fourth away from Andreas Baccarud on the final lap. But Olivier and Aurélien Panis claim victory in the Stade de France. Well, there is a unique opportunity for the pair. Olivier has pretty much retired from racing. Aurélien not so. He'll be racing in World Touring Cars again this season. And Olivier Panis and Aurélien Panis win in the Stade de France. Well, fantastic action. Sebastian Loeb got very close, didn't he? Jean-Baptiste Dubourg even ran into the back of Sebastian Loeb to try and get by, but he couldn't make it through. There's Aurélien Panis in the yellow suit. His dad's out of the car. That's a great father-son opportunity. Olivier, naturally hugely supportive of his son's racing career. In fact, he's been part of the French commentary team for the World Touring Cars while his son has been racing, which has been a mixed emotional bag, I can tell you. There's Sebastian Loeb. Wow, he did such a good job. I just didn't want to lose it. Seb was so hot, Sebastian Loeb. I thought, I can't make a mistake, because if it happens, it'll be so easy. But he closed in, so I really had to fight. I'm never going to forget this. Winning in the Stade de France with my dad, just incredible. Well, there are the brothers, Jean-Baptiste and Andrea Dubourg, finishing in third position. That's a unique family double as well. Franck Lagorce and Sebastian Loeb, the runners-up. There's Olivier Panis and son Aurélien. And they claim victory here in the Stade de France at the end of a fantastic 30th birthday party for Trophy Andros. It was a unique take on the final approach here. It's a well thought out little change to the ordinary. Great way to bring in guest drivers and to throw up some unusual combinations. Our drivers all looking pretty happy with themselves. Great entertainment for the crowd, great entertainment for the drivers as well. The day that Olivier and Aurélien Panis will treasure for a long while. Just been able to compete together, but to win in such a venue. The Stade de France, really a fitting place for the culmination of the 30th anniversary celebrations of Trophy Andros. Trophy Andros will return again in strength next year for the 31st season. We'll see you when the snow falls and the ice freezes in Val Thorens.